the following has been put together for your viewing enjoyment. I hope you appreciate the effort that went into making this production. I currently work as a stripper, and make these videos in my spare time, although stripping does take a lot out of me on a day-to-day basis. Please subscribe so that I know my efforts are not in vain. Hugs and kisses. Mizreddit. What's the worst customer service you've ever experienced? I ordered some wallpaper through Home Depot's website, and paid for it via PayPal. It arrived with one roll badly damaged, so I went into the store to return it. The 80-year-old woman inexplicably tasked with manning the computer, simply could not figure out how to process the return. I stood there for 15 minutes while she made various attempts, and I was trying not to give off any sense of impatience or make her feel rushed or flustered. And then she ultimately concluded that there was nothing she could do, and that I should just go away and come back another day. I asked if there was anyone else in the store who might be able to try, and she just refused to call anyone. That was a bullshit experience. I told her to just take the wallpaper and my receipt, issue me a store credit for the amount, and then leave a note for someone who knows what they're doing which explains the situation. It shouldn't be up to me to drive 30 minutes home, only to have to come back the next day and hope that she's not working and that something magical happened overnight to fix the computers. I was surprised that someone working customer service thought saying go away and come back another day was an adequate resolution. Had dinner with my family at a restaurant near me when I was a teenager. I think this was the third location of a local place. First location was decent, second was trying to be a little fancier, and the third fancier still. The prices at each location were higher than the location before, but without too much improvement in quality. The service was mediocre, and the food not much better, especially for the price. We got the bill, and my mother tipped about 15%, which is low for her, but still a standard, typical amount in the US. The manager of the place brought the bill back and told my mother she didn't leave enough tip. That's when my dear sweet mother zeroed out the tip line. I'd never seen her do that before, and I wouldn't be surprised if she never does it again. We haven't been back in over 15 years, and I honestly don't understand how the place is still in business. I've been chased out of a restaurant when I dined with scumbag friends who didn't leave enough cash for their part of the bill. The amount we owed was all that, but because they didn't leave enough to cover their portion, a paltry tip was left. I had left something like 20%, but because a chunk of my tip had to cover their bill it worked out less. I ended up handing a bunch of cash to her in embarrassment, but I really should have told her to fuck off. I don't care if I left a penny on purpose. That shit is unacceptable. AT&T Internet Service Technician. Back in 2010, I was renting a room with a bunch of other guys in their 20s. Our landlord lived in the guest house in the backyard, garage, and there she also kept the wireless router. One day our internet goes out. Myself and the fellow tenants were pretty good with the tech stuff, and diagnosed that the problem was beyond our own network. Something was preventing a signal from reaching our house from the utility line, and after waiting 2 days hoping the problem would fix itself, we had to call AT&T customer support to send a guy out and fix it. He arrives 5 days later. Our landlord was a very friendly Filipino lady, early 60s, loving mother and kindest soul on the block. She's everything an opportunistic commission-driven technician loves. But unfortunately for him, she wasn't a dumbass. The tech was in the middle of explaining what our problem was, and came up with this harebrained story about how we weren't getting a signal because our Ethernet cable connecting the router to the modem was kinked, causing data to back up like water in a garden hose. Let's pause and reiterate. AT&T's technician told us that data was backing up in our Ethernet cable because it was coiled, and backing up like water in a garden hose. He then gives his whole spiel about how the problem could be fixed by buying one of their new $120 routers, and spending an extra $15 on buying an AT&T approved Ethernet cable. The idiot took the bait, and our landlord sprung the trap. She called myself and the other tenants to come to the guest house. The look on the technician's face was golden. Upon being surrounded by a bunch of 20-somethings, many who work in software and medical tech, you could see his soul trying to jettison out of his butt in frantic escape. We all walk in with laptops and net diagnostics open, and we plug the laptop straight into the modem to show there's no down signal. We access the modem properties and confirm that the modem log showed an external outage starting 1 week prior. The technician tries to explain that he'll simply send a call out to see if they could confirm connectivity or something, but our landlord interrupts him to say that he gave her a completely different explanation. She tries to force him to give us the pitch he gave her, but after refusing and backtracking, she then tells us every single detail. Coiled cable. Data backing up. Water in a goddamn garden hose. After a good derisive laugh at this guy, he disappears outside for about 10 minutes to make a phone call. He comes back, and says all right, they're looking at it, give us a call if. Nope. We held his ass hostage. We bombarded the technician with questions and demanded explanations. Asked him things about the router, and the Ethernet cable he was trying to sell, that made it somehow better than the ones we already got. All the while, we're really just holding him down while constantly refreshing our connection. We were deprived of the internet for a week. We had frustrations to vent. Fortunately for the technician, he was only apprehended by our questioning for a short while. Before we could get any sort of justifiable reasoning for trying to swindle our dear sweet landlord, the internet miraculously fired back to life after just 10 minutes. Didn't matter, though. After that ordeal we dumped AT&T forever. Because of that technician, they didn't just lose that household, but every household myself and my housemates moved out to later in life. My former German internet provider once sent me an email that said, "We can't send you the bill per-email as requested, because your email address is incorrect. We now have to send you the bill per mail. This service will cost you €1.50. So, they've sent me an email to tell me they can't send me an email. I refused to pay the €1.50 and nothing happened. 9 months later, they cut my connection, because I haven't paid the €1.50. Assholes. Went into K Jewelers with my wife to get her engagement ring inspected for the every 6 months warranty checkup. So, obviously, I've spent money with them before. As we were waiting for the paperwork, my wife noticed a necklace she liked, and wanted to see mostly the price on it. The saleswoman immediately started talking about the credit card, trying to get me to apply. I told her I wasn't interested. We noticed the price was rather high. I said we just wanted to look at the necklace up close, but not buy today. Immediately, she grabs the necklace back and starts helping another couple that had walked in without another word to us. Maybe not the worst ever, but recent and completely ridiculous. A rude as fuck hairstylist. I'm a black woman, by the way, for context. I booked an appointment to get my hair straightened with a random woman because my regular stylist was out of town. Big mistake. Right away she told me I should quit straightening my hair and get a wig like her. She asked me what products I used, and rolled her eyes at each one. When I asked her to put a special cream on my forehead and ears to protect them from the chemicals, she laughed at me and mocked me with the other stylists. When my skin ended up burning because, see above, she put oil on it instead of washing the chemicals out right away. When I finally made it to the sink, she used a brush on my scalp while shampooing, which you should never do because agitated skin and chemicals don't mix. She left me under the dryer for an hour. She complained the entire time about how women in my state are stuck up and boring. She picked up on that fact that my ex-boyfriend who I was meeting up with after, was white. She did not approve, but okay, girl. It took her 3 hours to do a 45-minute service. I never went back to that salon. In fact, I never straightened my hair again. 3 years later it's thick and curly and longer than it's ever been. So thanks bitch, I guess. Laughing out loud. If you liked this video, don't forget to click subscribe, hit the golden bell icon, and make sure you have notifications enabled on your account. If you didn't like this video, don't tell anybody. Mizreddit.